Coming up on Citrus TV, it's Mardi Gras, but Fat Tuesday may turn into Fat February. Syracuse Dining Week starts soon, and we'll tell you where you can get deals on your favorite restaurants.
And scandal in the Holy Land. Why are police in Israel saying their prime minister should be indicted? We'll have full coverage of the charges set against Netanyahu.
And the International Space Station is for sale. Why the president is making cuts to the NASA budget. All that and more right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Our top story tonight, the city of Syracuse prepares for the Central New York Boat Show. Good evening, I'm Chris Venzon.
And I'm Sabrina Maggiore. The boating show is one of Syracuse's signature events. It brings thousands of people to the fairgrounds to check out the newest innovations in boating. We go live now to the fairgrounds where Taylor Lang is live with the boat show to bring to Syracuse this year. Taylor?
Thanks, guys. With only 108 days until summer starts, I'm here at the Central New York Boat Show at the fairground, where they have over 500 different kinds of boats. These include speedboats, sailboats, powerboats, and even docks. As you look around, they also have boating license classes and classes that you can take in case you're ever on an emergency in the water. They have an exhibit here in case you're ever interested in the shipwrecks of Central New York, here with all the lakes and the waters around us. And with the largest selection here in upstate New York, from Thursday until Sunday, this is the place to be. Taylor Lang, Citrus TV News. Back to you guys.
All right, Taylor, thank you so much. Are you curious as to what cars Central New Yorkers are driving? The market research company Edmunds tracked the 25 most popular cars sold in Central New York in 2017. The Chevy Silverado came in first place with a 5.6 market share. Other big cars also rounded off the list, such as the Ford F-Series and the Toyota RAV4 and the Nissan Rogue. SU is opening a new ombuds office. Ombuds, or public advocates, are there to provide assistance on healthy conflict resolution in relationships.
The office will provide a space for concerns, complaints, or conflicts, and the ombuds will serve as a listening ear and help resolving issues. Chancellor Sivaroon described this as an important step towards promoting a respectful and ethical campus workplace. It's open to all staffs and students on campus. And the city is looking for feedback on snow removal. Mayor Ben Walsh has set up the first ever Syracuse Summit where he'll be looking for ways to improve the city's snow removal process.
Walsh has already promised better enforcement of laws meant to keep the streets and sidewalks clear. Officials are hoping that your feedback could help solve the ongoing problem. The summit is set to take place on Thursday. A Central New York church is hosting a Mardi Gras charity dinner. Grace Episcopal Church in Baldwinsville will open their doors tonight at 5 o'clock. Tickets are $9 at the door, and for those who bring a non-perishable food item, they'll receive a $1 off their initial ticket price. Proceeds from the dinner will go to the Veterans for Foreign Wars Post-153 Food Pantry.
Junior ROTC members from around Central New York visited the Dome this afternoon to learn more about Syracuse ROTC and participate in the Fitness Challenge. Our Nicole DeMentri is here to tell us more. Nicole?
And Sabrina, it certainly looked tough. Syracuse Army ROTC cadets hosted around 70 junior ROTC members from around Central New York for the very first annual Fitness Challenge. Now, before the competition began, students came from Mexico Academy, Central District Marine Corps, Proctor Navy JRTC, Buffalo Naval Academy, and others. The event even started with a chat from SU admissions counselors about continuing an ROTC here on the Hill. Now, while they leaned heavily on the Army side of ROTC, they also talked about options for Marine and Air Force college programs. Following a brief safety chat, the teams were off to the races, which include burpees, running laps, push-ups, sit-ups, and carrying dummies on stretchers across the Dome field. SU cadets planned and organized the challenge after they were approached by JROTC leaders in the fall, and awards were given in various categories at the end of the challenge.
We're just introducing them to what they can potentially do beyond high school, whether it's in the military or at colleges or universities.
And most of the high school ROTC members are juniors and therefore are eligible to apply to Syracuse University as well as the university's ROTC scholarship. Lieutenant Warner hopes to continue this challenge in years to come. For Citrus TV, I'm Nicole DeMentri. Back to you guys at the desk.
Sounds exhausting. Thank you so much, Nikki. Horrific reports out of Auburn today. Police have been accused of torturing and beating inmates. Lieutenant Troy Mitchell and other police guards have been charged with waterboarding as well as permanently injuring their prisoners.
The department is set to investigate and said, quote, "This department has zero tolerance for any behavior that jeopardizes the safety and security of our facilities and the individuals who live and work there." Mitchell was accused of sexually harassing a female correction officer back in 2006.
Well, a pioneer for both Syracuse and the United States passed away last night. Judge Sandra Towns was the first black woman to become a federal judge in East New York. But she was also a big figure in Syracuse. Towns worked her way up from the Onondaga County DA's office to the state courts and finally to the federal courts. Towns was 73.
It's a slow time for downtown Syracuse businesses. After Valentine's Day, it's usually the worst time of the year for restaurants. Why is that? And what are downtown restaurants doing about it? CitrusTV reporter Dan Prager tells us more.
The middle of February can be a pretty slow time for downtown Syracuse.
Everybody's still catching up from Christmas and they're thinking about their taxes. Generally speaking, people are low on income right now because it's slow everywhere.
But that's exactly the problem Dining Week is trying to fix.
A new feature of Dining Week here? Lunch specials. So whether you want Thai food like at Lemongrass, or fusion at Elephant Bistro, or even your classic bar food like they have here at Blue Tusk, you can find it all for just $10 right on the same street.
At Fabio's Antica Cucina, they're excited about what's usually the slowest time of the year.
One day they're going to come here, another day they're going to go in another business. So I create like action and movement, which is a good thing, bring life.
Fabio's is a new restaurant, and this is their first year participating. Fabio says he's pulling out all the stops to bring in new business, including a new secret menu. Forget 100 customers a night, he says they're hoping for 300. And Fabio's events coordinator Heather Griffo is preparing accordingly.
We'll have everyone on board, our A-team, as we like to call us.
At least 2 other restaurants I talked to were hiring new workers, and the organizers of Dining Week, that's the Syracuse Downtown Committee, say they expect 50,000 people to fill these and other empty chairs. But between new hires, added customers, and more money, what's the best way to know how much this will help restaurants? For Griffo, it's all about selling their specialty, the flaming cheese wheel.
If we have another cheese wheel, that means we're doing something right.
Dining Week starts on Thursday, so get ready for great food at great prices. Dan Prager, CitrusTV News.
And this year, a record 40 participants will be taking place in this event. Thanks, Dan.
An upstate New York man was caught with 110 pounds of cocaine during a routine traffic stop. The arrest happened Saturday on I-81 in Hastings. 24-year-old Jake Patnode was reportedly barreling down I-81 north. When police pulled him over, they found 110 pounds of cocaine in his vehicle. Patnode could face a minimum sentence of 10 years in prison and up to $10 million in fines. Well, the town of Skaneateles agreed last night to map the Skaneateles Lake watershed. Dubbed a 9-element watershed plan, Skaneateles will research pollutants and how to reduce harmful nutrients from entering the lake. Board members are requesting between $375,000 to $500,000 in funding for the plan.
All right, Chris, well, we finally had a nice day here in Syracuse.
Absolutely. It was, snow started to melt, icicles suddenly gone, roads are nice. Right now, we'll take a look with Brendan Tierney. Brendan, what are we looking for the rest of the week?
Yeah, Chris and Sabrina, we have much nicer weather on its way. Today wasn't that bad overall. This morning at 9 a.m. we were a little colder. That's when we had wind chills in the single digits, where we got up throughout the day. 27 was our high. We reached that about 3 o'clock. Come down a bit since then, but not too bad overall as you take a look around the region. We'll see 33 in Ithaca, 35 in Binghamton. We're still a little bit colder up here in Syracuse. We're sitting at 24 degrees, but that won't get too much worse overnight. So take a look at your current satellite and radar. You're able to see not too much in the area at all. Good news is no snow, and there's some cloud cover that will be in the area. That will keep us much warmer as we get into the night, so not a bad Tuesday evening overall. Coming up in your exclusive Citrus TV 5-day forecast, we take a look at a warm-up, not just for tomorrow, Valentine's Day, but also going into the weekend.
Coming up, the U.S. intelligence chief testified today as to what they believe are the biggest threats. Find out what they said.
And it may be 2018, but one 2020 presidential hopeful is already running campaign ads. Stay tuned.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Welcome back. U.S. intelligence chiefs say that Russia plans to interfere with the 2018 midterm elections.
Director of National Intelligence Daniel Coates said Russia will continue to use fake news and social media to meddle with the midterms. The committee's Democratic vice chairman said Trump is to blame for not preparing for the Russian electoral threat.
The intelligence chiefs also say North Korea's diplomatic presence at the Olympics does not change the country's quest for nuclear weapons, and that the U.S. must stay ready to respond.
2 members of the Baltimore Police Department's Rogue Police Unit have been convicted of racketeering in bribery.
Authorities say the task force committed crimes like conducting illegal searches, holding up suspects, and attempting to cover up their crimes.
6 other officers have already pleaded guilty. None of the officers remain in the force.
A new report shows a huge increase in illegal immigration in the past few months. The Mexican government says that illegal immigration dipped after the 2016 election, but what they're calling the Trump effect is now over.
You can see that dip here, but then around April it starts going up, and once December comes around, it's more than where it was when Trump got elected.
The report says that immigration is not just from Mexico. More and more migrants are arriving from South American countries like Guatemala.
President Trump's presidency may only be a year old, but one presidential hopeful is already campaigning for 2020.
Democratic Representative John Delaney is currently running 2 campaign advertisements in Iowa. A campaign spokesman says the 2 ads will run for 4 weeks and are part of a $1 million campaign.
Delaney is the first person to announce his bid for the presidency.
And shocking news out of Israel today, as police say that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu should be indicted for a laundry list of crimes.
The Israeli leader has been accused of bribery, fraud, and a breach of trust on 2 different occasions. Netanyahu will continue his role as Prime Minister despite these allegations.
The decision whether or not to indict the Prime Minister will be made by the Israeli Attorney General.
Julian Assange will continue to be the target of British law enforcement after a judge upheld an arrest warrant for the WikiLeaks founder.
Assange has spent more than 5 years in England at Ecuador's London embassy. Ecuador granted Assange citizenship in December, but he risks arrest if he attempts to leave the embassy.
Assange has been on the run since publishing classified U.S. government documents back in 2010.
Political turmoil in South Africa today. Despite pressure from the African National Congress, President Zuma is refusing to resign.
The ANC formally asked for Zuma's resignation this afternoon after trying to push him out for months. Zuma has been mired in a series of corruption scandals, but has survived opposition attempts to oust him.
The president said today he would only step down if he could oversee the transition period. The ANC top brass rejected his offer.
Tonga's parliament building is in ruins after a Category 4 storm ravaged the country.
Reports say that Cyclone Gita was the strongest storm to pass through Tonga in 60 years. The storm brought winds of nearly 125 miles per hour to the Polynesian islands.
The tropical cyclone downed power lines, injured 30 people, and tore the roofs off of homes. Images posted to social media show extensive property damage throughout the capital.
All right, after the break, the International Space Station could lose funding. What does this mean for the future of NASA?
And the Westminster Dog Show ends tonight. Which pup will be named the best in show? That and more when we return.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
I'm B.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
And welcome back to Citrus TV News. As I mentioned earlier, we have some warmer weather on its way, and it's thanks to the system we have setting up. We take a look at your surface analysis map. You'll see low pressure out on the west coast, nothing near us. That's going to move into the area and bring some warmer temperatures with it. Today, not that nice overall. We're checking in warmer weather down south. It's going to move up into our area as we get into tomorrow. We're going to be seeing highs in the 50s in Pennsylvania, 40s here in Syracuse, but not too bad overall. Definitely well above average for this time in February. Taking a look at your forecast for the future right here, you'll see some clouds moving into the area. Those clouds will keep us a bit warmer overnight into tomorrow. Best part is no substantial snow will be coming with it at all. We may have a little bit of a drizzle tomorrow night. Let's take a look at your forecast for the game tomorrow night as Syracuse takes on NC State. 38 degrees will be your temperature going into the Dome at 9 o'clock. A bit of a later game, which means there's a chance for some rain as you're leaving the Dome after it. Not too bad overall. There are going to be passing showers as well. So the clouds is the biggest issue. I don't think you need an umbrella. Might want to just risk it. Taking a look at your forecast for tonight, first of all, we're looking at 23 degrees as your low, increasing clouds throughout the night. Your sun is already set. Good news is with all those clouds you're seeing, temperatures will not be dropping that much as we get into the overnight hours. And taking a look at your exclusive Citrus TV 5-day forecast, you're able to see 44 degrees tomorrow, kind of fitting as the orange take on NC State. We're then at 48 on Thursday. Chance of rain, 55%. A bit of a chance of snow on Friday. Not that bad overall. I'm putting in about 40% chance of snow. More likely just clouds than 32 on Saturday. So we get much colder Friday night into Saturday. Good news is Sunday, 43 degrees, nice and sunny, guys. Overall, I think that might be the first tailgating day of the semester overall.
That's big time.
Thanks, Brendan.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and investigators say that human error and frozen sensors could be to blame for the Russian plane crash that killed 71. Russia's Interstate Aviation Committee says instruments on board showed different speed readings. This indicates that the speed sensors were iced over as pilots failed to activate their heating system. The crew detected this issue and switched to autopilot, but eventually crashed just minutes after takeoff. And President Trump is looking to make changes to the NASA space program and the International Space Station.
In his 2019 budget proposal, Trump discusses plans to end direct U.S. financial support for the ISS in 2025.
Trump's administration would also form a $150 million program that would ready private companies to adopt space station operations over the next 7 years.
Well, elsewhere, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, especially for these adorable pooches and for the canines in this year's Westminster Dog Show. The competition to be top dog is just heating up. Tonight, the dog show wraps up with some serious ferocious breeds in the final. The Pug, Border Collie, Borzoi, and the Bichon Frise will compete to be best in show this evening at 8 o'clock. But no matter which breed wins, we can all agree that they're still good dogs. Right, Tyler?
Well, no dogs in the Carrier Dome this weekend, but a pack of wolves visits Central New York tomorrow. We'll preview Syracuse and NC State, and Olympic fever is in full effect. That and more when News Live at 6 returns.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Got a quarter?
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Oh, okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
Well, they say opposites attract, but that's not the case this Valentine's Day. On Wednesday, the Carrier Dome plays host to a pair of teams that are 6-6 in ACC play. However, Syracuse and NC State's roads to 500 could not be more different. The Orange has yet to beat a top 25 team this season, while the Wolfpack has taken down 4. So how is a team that finished last season 4-14 in the ACC and also lost its best player to the NBA draft still treading water in arguably the best conference in college basketball? Well, it starts at the top. New head coach Kevin Keatts has been a revelation down in Raleigh, and Orange head coach Jim Boeheim is taking notice.
I just think he's done a tremendous job, and I think that they're one of the better offensive teams in the league. You know, they come at you with a lot of different weapons. They're really a well-balanced team, and they're a really well-coached team, difficult team to play against.
A lot of tournament implications on the line in this one, and you'll want to break out the Red Bull for Orange Press Pass at 1 a.m. following the game. You'll be watching the Olympics anyways. The crew will break down SU and NC State. We'll see if Syracuse's chances at the big dance are still intact after this one. Orange Press Pass right here on OTN. And football season is still more than 6 months away, but the Orange's secondary just got even thinner. Redshirt junior Rodney Williams announced he is transferring from Syracuse. Williams will be eligible immediately as a grad transfer. The safety started 21 games and recorded 2 picks in his 3 seasons with SU. However, Williams isn't the only one leaving the Orange's secondary. In fact, the safety is the 4th defensive back to transfer this offseason alone. Barring any changes, Syracuse still returns both of its starting safeties in Evan Foster and Antoine Cordy. Well, when you beat a team by 17 goals, you're going to garner some respect in the lacrosse world. That's exactly what happened to the Orange this week. SU moved up 4 spots to 7th in the Maverick Media poll. Meanwhile, Syracuse's next opponent, Albany, was idle last week and dropped 1 spot. And a big reason why the Orange is elevating in the polls is because of its face-off dominance. Syracuse Fogo Danny Varela was named to the USILA Team of the Week. The sophomore won 15 of his 17 face-offs against Binghamton on Saturday. However, Varela's test at the X gets much tougher next week. He'll square off with Albany's All-American face-off specialist T.D. Ireland on Saturday. And like the men, the women are also garnering some respect for its dominating performance in the opener. The Orange jumped to 5th in the latest media poll. The 2-spot climb comes on the heels of SU's 23-11 win over UConn last Friday. Syracuse travels west to take on Oregon this Sunday. Well, what were you doing at age 17? Your answer is probably very different than Chloe Kim's. The American took home gold last night in the women's snowboard halfpipe. Kim's back-to-back 1080 sealed the deal for her. In fact, the move has only successfully been completed by Kim and 2-time gold winner on the men's side, Shaun White. And that gold is one of 3 for the Americans, who still have some work to do in the medal count. Norway currently leads the way with 11, followed closely by both the Netherlands and Canada, who each come in with 10, and then it's a tight race with Germany at 9 and the U.S. with 6.
Tyler, you are the best in the biz. We always appreciate your time. Citrus TV Live will be back in 90 seconds.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation letter. You're resigning? Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay, but remember, it's not what you say.
I invented
it's
it.
what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Taking a look at your Wednesday day planner. Waking up, heading out to class tomorrow, 35 degrees. Periods of sun and clouds as we get to noon, 41. Our high in the afternoon, 44 degrees. Getting down to 39 at 6 p.m. Some evening showers will be passing through, but they won't really be affecting your evening basketball game.
Anything better than snow, Brendan. So let's put a bow on it. Let's wrap this one up. We finished tonight because we all know that dogs like to run. But how about running for governor? According to his owners, Angus, the dog on your screen, will be running for the governor of Kansas in November.
His owners say that after reading up on what is required of gubernatorial candidates, Angus would make the perfect fit.
His cabinet would include his siblings Max and Babe, how adorable, as lieutenant governor and secretary of state. Sadly, Kansas won't let him run, but maybe a write-in campaign is next. Finally, guys, a campaign that we can all get behind. I would say that is fantastic. I don't know about you. Do you remember the cat that held the mayor position for like 15 years in Alaska? Can you remember that? I think it was
Way
like
back
Scabs.
when?
Yeah, I mean, what's next? Fish. We can go, I think cats would right around that.
Overall, animals in offices, I mean, they can't really do anything, but they can get a good bone.
Well, whether that's better than President Trump, we'll find out. All
right, and that's all the time we have for today. Keep up with us on Twitter and on our website at citrustv.com.
If there's any news that you'd like us to cover, you can hit us up on Twitter at CitrusTV News. For Chris Venzon, I'm Chris Venzon.
And I'm Sabrina Maggiore. Have a great night, Syracuse.